morning. I do believe today we are going to attempt the Tangram cup. And what I have here is the template. I have cut it on my Cricut machine on some removable vinyl that I don't use that often. I bought it for a specific purpose, used it, and I have like 6 sheets left, so I used that for my template. I have sanded and painted my cup. Sanded, washed, and painted. I did a light pink because my color theme is going to be pinks and reds. I guess I should show you the colors that I'm going to use. I'm going to use, they're all Walmart colors. Crystal Diamond is going to be the white. And then I've got Cameo Pink, Ruby, and last but not least, Cherry Blossom. And it's a kind of a hot pink. It's kind of really pretty. As you can tell, it's going to be a Valentine's Day cup. My daughter really got onto me because I did the Shamrock cup before I did Valentine's cup, and apparently that was wrong. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to do this cup today, or we're going to start it today. So like I said, I've cut my pattern, stencil, whatever you want to call it, on removable vinyl. I have put it on transfer tape, shelf liner, whatever your personal preference is. And there is that. Now I got my pattern off of Etsy. I think I paid like $3.40 for it. And I got 3 different types. I chose this one. I got it specific for the 20-ounce slim built cups. And there's nothing really to do except for jump in. So, whew, here comes the nerves. So, what I'll do, start there and roll it up. And then just roll it around. And it fits. Look at that, boys and girls. Sorry, I don't know if you can see or not. I don't have it overhead today, or right this second. I do have a little bit of a bubble, but I just rubbed it out, so it's fine. Now, let me to back this off a teensy bit so I can start removing. Alright, so I'm going to, there's a little tiny lip here on the bottom, and I'm going to roll it down because at each section it keeps trying to come off. But I need to get this pulled back a small amount. Make sure to press down. I have to roll it back a small amount so I can get my little bit of overlap down. Beautiful, perfect seam. I am just a tiny bit off, but I think we can fix that as we glitter. So that was completely on me with that initial air bubble that I had. That has nothing to do with the pattern. 100% user error. completely wrapped. And I don't know why I just wadded that up, but I did. Alright, so I'm going to get my colors mixed up. I always put a little bit of tint in my Mod Podge as I go because it just makes life easier. And I got paint on me this morning when I was prepping my cup, but we will start by pulling here. That you just pull randomly or in a pattern where you want your first color to go. And that's what I will be doing. And I will come back when it's time to glitter. Okay guys, I have finished pulling my first color. And as I was doing so, I realized I did not have either enough to get the right pattern that I wanted, because I need a pattern. I can't just do random. So what I did is I downgraded on my number of glitters. I'm going to use the red sapphire, the cherry blossom, and the diamond. I took out the cameo pink. If I went ahead with the cameo pink, I would have had to add 2 other colors, and I really didn't want to add another pink or purple. Not what I was going for here. So I took the lighter pink out, and I am going to do white, red, hot pink, white, red, hot pink in a pattern like that. And I will come back in a second whenever I have all of my Mod Podge and paint mixed to show you how to start the glitter. Okay guys, here we go. Hold on, I'm crooked. Okay guys, here we go. So what I did while I was off camera is, like I said, I was going to take my Mod Podge and I was going to mix it with acrylic, and I used acrylic inks to tint my Mod Podge. What that does is it just kind of helps hide any glitter that doesn't cover. Okay, so what I'm going to do is start with the white, and we'll do a couple of these and then I'll speed it up and we'll go from there. But you just see painted on. I'm going to do a couple at a time because I'm just not a one at a time kind of girl. And I've got, as always, cardstock underneath, but what I'm going to catch my glitter on today, I think, is my backing from my removable vinyl. That's the word I was looking for. Now, just going to dump probably more than I need to on, but we're going to do 2 coats. Because see, the baby pink's showing through. And we may change to pink instead of diamond. We may have 2 different colors of pink, because I'm afraid that is going to continue to show through. It's either that or silver. What do y'all think? Let me brainstorm on this and I'll be right back. Okay, so we're going with silver. See? So much better. silver covers a lot better with the first coat. I mean, the plan is to go around twice and do 2 coats, but still, I'd still like to have better coverage on my first coat. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to go around. There's the silver. Now I will pick off the next layer and do red. And what I will do is come back after I'm done with all the other glitter, because it's just going to be a bunch of fast forwarding process. Okay, so here we are. we are going to start this process again with the next color. We have red Mod Podge, red glitter, paintbrush, repeat. Going to do a couple. To show you, and then that'll be it for the red. I'm not going to sit here and go over the whole thing and make you watch. You can tackle these however you want. Random, in a line, back and forth. And we'll do 2 coats again. Okay, that's what we look like. Come back when we're doing a second coat. Here we are. Silver and red are done. Pink is peeled. Going to use Cherry Blossom, my pink Mod Podge. All right, last step. I'll do like I did before and do a couple, and then we'll fast forward or just jump. We'll see. I've been arguing with myself all day about whether to use the Cherry Blossom or the Cameo Pink. Still having a little bit of difficulty, but I am going to go with the Cherry Blossom, even though the Cameo Pink is closer to what I'm looking at now on this cup, and I really like it. So, cross your fingers, see if we like it. Yeah, I think it'll be okay. spot that I need to put silver in. Before I dump this pink. All right. Definitely 2 coats. All right, now we have, now one more spot I'm going to do here. This has had 2 coats already, but that little spot right there I just saw was a little thin. So there, that's better. But those have had 2 coats, these 2 have not. So let's knock these 2 out, and then we will be done with this part of this cup. And I'm probably going to just speed this up so you don't have to sit through the whole thing. Now I would suggest, if you're going to do this cup, that you set aside 2 to 3 hours just for the glitter part. It has taken me right at 2.5 with a couple breaks throughout. But with that, I would say we're done, except for the bottom, which I will come back after I brush all the glitter off and decide what I'm going to do with it. But get my hand out. Until then, we are done. We're going to epoxy this cup. As you can see, it is not as shiny as it was. When I sealed it this morning, it was the blue booty crack of dawn, and I was not quite awake, and I grabbed the matte sealer. So here's hoping that the epoxy will bring back the shine of the glitter, or I will be remaking this cup, being that I have already sold it. So wish me luck. We're going to epoxy this. I'm going to do it quick. Everybody's already epoxied at least 1 cup by now, so we know how it works, you know. So just a real quick, get some epoxy on this cup so we can get our vinyl on it. And I did 20 mils because glitter is thirsty. And for a first layer, it is what it is. And I may actually have to mix some more. After this layer, we will sand and repeat until smooth. But this will seal in our glitter, and it looks to possibly be bringing the shine back, so that is a plus. Yay me. I was worried for a minute. I have not used matte sealer on glitter before, so. But as soon as I sprayed, I knew what had happened, and my heart sank. And it was like, well, we'll go from here and see. If not, it's no big deal. Just soak a paper towel in some acetone, and then you wrap it up and put it in a baggie for 24 hours, and it generally, notice I said generally, wipes off. And that's that until it dries. As you can see, I jumped ahead of y'all on this cup build, and it wasn't intentional, but when I got to doing this, it was not a good time to film because people were sleeping. What I did off camera was I sanded any rough spots, and I roughed up the whole the whole cup with high grit sandpaper, and then I washed it, and then I wiped it down with alcohol and prepped it for the vinyl. And then I took my Cricut and I made my vinyl stripes. I used my stencil that I had purchased and just lined up squares, the thickness that I wanted on that, and lined it on the chevrons and the up and down, and then I placed them, and then I did the monogram on the Cricut, of course, and placed it. Now I'm mixing up 20 mils of epoxy, and we're going to put the first of at least 2 top coats on this bad boy before it can set for a few days before it goes home. Now, one thing I have not done yet and I need to do is go get some alcohol, is you don't want your fingerprints to show up on that shiny vinyl. And I used for the up and down stripes, I just used Cricut silver, and for the monogram I used the roll gold silver, both adhesive foils. Alright, so we will just go back and forth for a complete turn, just to make sure that we have all fingerprint smudges off of this shiny material, because it will show up under your epoxy. And try not to snag your peaks, which they should be laid down well, but if you have one that is not, you could lift it with the alcohol, and that is not what you want to do. And I've got a couple air bubbles that I'm trying to make sure 100% are gone. Without scratching the silver, because that foil adhesive scratches so easy. I sanded my rim. It's nice and smooth, and you want to sand it at a bevel. That way you do not get grit that sticks through whenever. Alright, this thing's trying to turn on me. Hold on. Alright, so we have our epoxy mixed. It's 20 mils, like I said. Let it set for a little bit to get some of the big air bubbles out. And it did pretty well. It's clear other than the air bubbles. Now, just start. And you always want to make sure you rub it really well when you're putting it on the foil, because, and I learned this a long time ago making coasters, the little tiny air bubbles adhere to that foil like they, I mean, I've never seen it do any other type of vinyl. But see, it makes it look cloudy, so rub it in and pop them bubbles and get a tiny amount down pushed onto the foil. And then even if the epoxy, yeah, that word, that moves over, it has air bubbles in it, it doesn't adhere to the foil. But for some reason, these little tiny air bubbles like to just grab onto that foil, and it looks horrible. So you really, 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 really want to watch your bubbles on this. Okay, so now that that's done, let's help it level itself out here. And this will definitely need to be torched. When I get this on, I'll take you guys off the tripod and show you what I'm talking about these bubbles that get onto this foil. Direction we will go. This direction, make sure we did not miss any spots. You want to make sure that your vinyl does not lift up. Definitely have the bottom done, which is good. Now we go back to the top, just to be sure that we get a good seal on that top rim. Let it catch up to me here a little bit. This was definitely a fun cup. I think the next one I'm going to make, unless I've got a order come in, I think I'm going to do a dark one with like the blacks and the bronzes. I think that would be really, really pretty. Alright, that's all of the epoxy. Let me take you down here and show you what I was talking about those bubbles. See how they adhere to the foil? You really want to be sure you torch that. And that's actually what I'm getting ready to do, so I'll give it a couple more minutes spinning, and then I will torch. Maybe. The gremlins have run off with my torch again. That's not a drawer. Aha, it's under the table. But you're really going to have to heat this up to get those bubbles. And actually, I'm probably going to use the noisy heat gun so I don't squirt my epoxy. There they go. that has it. Let's take a look. Till that monogram gets around here so you can really see it good. And there's a couple, but I will come back in 5 minutes and torch it again. All right, so I just used the heat gun again. And I'm going to move you in so you can see how much better that looks. Okay, no more bubbles. All right, guys, that is it. We will come in, I will come in about 4 hours and do a flood coat. And then I will let that completely set up. And then in the morning, I will do a second coat. And we will see where we stand after that. Good morning, lovelies. We are on the last stages of this cup. I am making sure there is no lingering epoxy on the rim before we do our final coat. That was just a little bit of acetone. And then just to make sure that it comes off, being that I'm in my craft room and not near my sink. A little bit of alcohol does the trick. I guess the glitter wants to come out and play. Alright, so that will evaporate off, but we're smooth. We're good around the edges. Oh, there's one that maybe a little raised. So take your X-Acto knife, and you have to be really careful that you don't screw things up here. At an angle. At an angle. See, that's what's the deal. Is this deep? The edges of my bottom decal stick out over the rim of the tumbler, and so it was making it stand out and be sharp. So we just trim it off at an angle so it lays flat, and we are good. Now the goal of this last coat of epoxy is to make everything completely level. I got one little bump here over the monogram, and it's right there where the tail of the R sticks up. And what I'm going to actually take the X-Acto knife and cut that off as well. You can sand it. It's just, you don't really need to do that step at this point, because it's just another step at this point. But it's just there where the tail of the R sticks up, and now it's gone. And now we don't have a little thorn poking through. Just make sure we have no waves, no ripples. We're good. So really our main goal is to make sure this down here gets covered, but equality, we've got to get it everywhere. And here, I was supposed to say, where did the end of my X-Acto knife go? Because I would end up cutting myself for this. All right, so I know I ended up doing most of that off camera, and I apologize, but once you get an overhead set up on your camera, there's really no moving it. And I'm just cleaning the spots that I shaved off just to make sure there's no residue behind, because, you know, Nobody wants to have crap in their epoxy. And I will do the wiping down of the thing for one turn, as I always do with alcohol, just to get fingerprints off, because I'm paranoid about leaving fingerprints. Make sure you're level. Are we level? We appear to be level. All right, now get my paper towel. Turn him on. And just start. And I just like to keep impurities out of my epoxy. That's basically where we go with this. Now, I have already mixed my epoxy, and I let the majority of the bubbles fall out of it. It's just starting to get warm, but we're bubble free and clear, almost bubble free and clear. So one more check as to being level, and we are. And do the bottom first, because that's what I'm after on leveling here. And you don't want to get too much on the bottom, because then you'll have the problem of rounding and your cup won't sit flat. So you have to be really careful and watch what you do, but you want it covered. You know what I mean? And I just mixed up 20 mils because this is just a top coat. It's, like I said, everything was smooth except for the bottom, so. And I got epoxy on my finger. It's okay, I've got alcohol right here to fix that. And just smooth it out. Make sure you go all the way up to the rim. My dogs are crying for me. My cat is over on my exercise bike. Sure I get the rim, and of course I will wipe off the very top of it whenever I get there. Oh, and there's a naked spot, a complete and total naked spot. That's why I like doing my hands instead of a brush. I can feel that because it stops and it drags. Oops, and that's going to drip inside. Not anymore. And we've got those little micro bubbles again, but they are not adhering to the vinyl this time. They will come out whenever you use the heat gun really easily this time. So yeah, yes. Over the edge there, because you got to get that seal, or else you'll leak water in when you wash it and it'll be ruined. And who wants to see their hours of hard work get ruined? Not me. Just making sure one final time that every spot is coated, and I'm just running my finger over with a really light touch. If it glides, it's covered, and if it grabs, it needs epoxy. Now this cup does have a couple of little flaws, but it is a handmade item and it will have some irregularities. Just like you can't make a matching set of anything whenever you hand make it. It just doesn't happen because we are human and there is that factor to put in there. I do not guarantee my stuff is perfect. I would love to be able to. But it is handmade, and as I just said, we are human. I'm just taking some acetone and cleaning up the inside where that one spot dripped over on me. And then I will clean up the rim so my lid fits well. I'll do one complete turn, and I hate doing this because it makes my epoxy run down. But one complete turn and we'll level it back out. As soon as the seam gets back around here. And you do now. Okay, so apparently we're doing 2 turns. Oh, there's the seam. All right. There is that done. There is that done. Let's level you back out. All right. Let it set for a couple minutes, and then we will use the heat gun and get rid of those bubbles. And then I'll get rid of the plate and trying to figure out if I want to do a wood grain, tooled leather, or my dark Tangram cup next. I guess it'll be a surprise for all of us. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and heat this and get rid of these bubbles. If you can see them popping, but I can. Few in there, so we will wait another 5 minutes and do that again. But for all intents and purposes, this cup is finished. I'll throw some stills up at the end of the video. If you like this tumbler or have one you want to see me make, comment down below. Subscribe and hit that notification bell, and I'll see you in the next video. Till then, take care.